Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching an ABC 10 Plus recap of our top stories. Our To The Point team looks into how the controversial California high-speed rail project may soon lose billions of dollars in federal funding. Then, in dollars and cents, we look into more Americans using buy now, pay later loans to afford their groceries. ABC 10 Plus recap starts now.
The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office is hosting a town hall. They plan to talk about what they call misconceptions about the mental health diversion program.
They say criminals and defense attorneys are taking advantage of the program and using it as a get-out-of-jail-free card.
But we're also hearing from a defense attorney who says the program is actually working.
That's right. And ABC 10's Roxanne Elias joins us live from the town hall with the details tonight. Roxanne, what can people expect?
Well, Chris and Laura, we're just a few minutes away from that town hall starting here behind me at 6:30. And Sacramento leaders such as Sheriff Jim Cooper and District Attorney Tin Hull are expected to share their concerns with this program they say is allowing criminals to go free or to reoffend.
The cops are handcuffed, the DAs are handcuffed, the courts are handcuffed, and it's because of this law.
Sergeant Amar Gandhi is talking about the mental health diversion program that became law in 2018. It allows defendants with mental health disorders to receive treatment instead of being sentenced to jail or prison. Gandhi says people's misconceptions are that if an offender has a mental health disorder, then they're going to a mental health facility to be treated, but instead they're being released into the public.
Think about someone who's beat a child as a felony charge of beating a child to the point of death. They can get to that point and it's completely wiped off. So it means they can go apply to be a school teacher. And it won't ever show up on their background.
Right now, the only charges that exempt a defendant from applying for the program are murder, rape, and child sex crimes. However, defense attorney Mark Reichel says in his experience, the program is working the way it should.
If you have a mental health professional who gives you a diagnosis that you have one of the listed conditions, and if it is a motivating and contributing factor in your commission of the crime, and if you agree to a treatment program that the court comes up with, it could be a very strict treatment program, then you qualify.
He says 5 of his clients have utilized the program, and it has taken them down a path of success. Reichel says no system is perfect, and he doesn't dispute the sheriff's office being upset when it doesn't work.
The way I see it is the guardrails are there. The lawyer can have the client apply for it. The judge is the one who grants it. So defense lawyers can use it all they want, but the DA's office can always oppose it. Probation doesn't have to sign off on it, and the judge is the final one who bangs the gavel.
The sheriff's office supports AB 46, which is a bill that would give judges the discretion to consider public safety when reviewing diversion requests. They say it's a step forward, but they're still hoping that the town hall will lead to new possibilities.
We're really hoping this inspires some change within the legislature first, and if not, maybe explore some other steps on some grassroots efforts or, maybe some other avenues.
Tonight's meeting will start with a small presentation. They will then highlight the law and what it means, and they will share some of their insights on how they feel about the law. And then some of the people here will be able to ask questions and have a discussion. I'm live in Sacramento. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Well, Roxanne, we know this program has a lot of people talking. We'll have more coverage throughout the night. Roxanne Elias, thank you for the update.
The California high-speed rail project is hitting yet another roadblock. Tonight, the federal government appears closer to cutting billions in funding. In a new Department of Transportation report that's more than 300 pages long, the feds say the project has no viable path forward and believes it's time to pull the plug. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is hearing from both sides of this controversy tonight and explains what today's news means for the future of the rail.
Alex, California voters first approved the rail project back in 2008. The authority that oversees it has been over budget and behind deadline ever since. A testing track is still not complete, and it's not known when people could even buy a ticket to board the future train. But advocates for high-speed rail tell me state lawmakers need to continue to invest in this project that will eventually benefit the state.
Hopefully this will be the beginning of the end for high-speed rail.
California Congressman Kevin Kiley, an open critic of the California high-speed rail, is adamant about cutting federal funding to the project. Months ago, Congressman Kiley introduced a bill to cut funding.
The tax dollars of Americans, and in particular of Californians, can be used where they will actually be needed and where they'll make a difference.
The Department of Transportation's Federal Railroad Administration has now published a report detailing the failures of the project and proposing all federal funding to be stopped. The FRA wants to terminate 2 existing contracts with the High-Speed Rail Authority, citing consistent delays, overspending, and failure to deliver on commitments. To date, the High-Speed Rail Authority says the cost estimate for the Merced to Bakersfield corridor ranges between $34.9 billion to $38.5 billion, a big difference from the initial proposed $45 billion for the entire project from San Francisco to Los Angeles. State lawmakers say federal dollars only make up a small portion of the project's budget, and it relies primarily on state dollars. And advocates for the project believe it is still a good investment.
The leaders of the legislature and the governor need to be very clear that they stand behind this project and that the state is going to push through to get trains running as fast as possible.
The High-Speed Rail Authority has 30 days to propose corrective actions in which the FRA will consider before federal funding is pulled. In a statement to ABC10, the authority says it strongly disagrees with the FRA's conclusions, believing it to be misguided. The authority adds the governor's proposed budget, if passed, will extend at least $1 billion per year for the next 20 years to complete the project's initial segment.
What happens with steady funding is that then you can start issuing bonds in order to build the critical tunnels that get you to the Bay Area and to the Los Angeles area.
Ultimately, Congressman Kiley believes it's too late for the authority to plead its case.
I do not believe so. The Rail Authority has had 17 years to make the case that it could actually complete this project.
And I asked the High-Speed Rail Authority if it plans on responding to the report. An authority spokesperson tells me it will fully address and correct the record with a formal response, Alex.
Now, Jeannie, let's talk about Senator Dave Cortese. We know that he has supported the high-speed rail project. He's also the chair of the Senate Transportation Committee. What did he really have to say about the report today?
Well, Alex, I have tried contacting Senator Dave Cortese's office multiple times over the last few days, but he hasn't made himself available. But he did provide us with a statement today that says, in part, the state could potentially lose $4 billion in federal grants, calling it a politicized move that would ultimately hurt Californians, leading to rising costs for materials and delays across housing and transportation projects. The state senator's full statement can be found on our website at abc10.com, Alex.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. And the state Senate this week just approved a bill that, if passed, would study the potential economic benefits of high-speed rail. SB 545, authored by State Senator Dave Cortese, would require the state to study the benefits tied to the project and its connecting lines, specifically for things like jobs, businesses, and emissions. Opponents argue it could add $700,000 to the already ballooning cost of the project. The bill heads to the Assembly for a vote. And we do have an in-depth look at the high-speed rail project on our ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. Our team has been examining this project for quite some time now. So if you want to take a look at it, it is currently on our free ABC10 Plus streaming app, which is completely free to download straight to your TV.
President Trump increased tariffs on steel and aluminum overnight. The tariffs doubled from 25% to 50%.
Today, the European Union says it strongly regrets the move. Perry Russum explains.
The European Union says it's ready to respond after President Trump raised the tariffs on imported steel and aluminum from 25% to 50%. The new tariffs taking effect today.
For us, this 50% is indeed a surprise.
The EU's trade commissioner says this does not help ongoing tariff negotiations.
The consultations on the countermeasures are ongoing. They will be completed very soon.
President Trump signing the executive order to raise the tariffs yesterday. In the order, he writes, the increased tariffs will more effectively counter foreign countries that continue to offload low-price excess steel and aluminum in the United States market and thereby undercut the competitiveness of the United States steel and aluminum industries.
The tariff agenda of this president, he believes very strongly in it. And as you've all seen, he's unafraid to use tariffs to protect our industries and protect our workers.
Experts say the increased tariffs are expected to raise prices on everything from cans of food to cars and trucks, with the added cost getting handed down to American consumers. Trump announcing the increased tariffs last Friday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, once the largest steel-producing city in the world.
If you don't have steel, you don't have a country. You don't have a country. You can't make a military. What are we going to do? Say, let's go to China to get our steel for the army tanks and for the boats and ships. A strong steel industry is not just a matter of dignity or prosperity and pride.
So far, only one tariff deal has been announced. It's with the United Kingdom and has not been signed yet. There appears to be some roadblocks with negotiating with China. President Trump today saying that Chinese President Xi Jinping is extremely hard to make a deal with. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Perry, thank you. Keep in mind, foreign-made steel and aluminum is used in common household products. I want you to take a look at some of the things we're talking about. They include things like soup cans, paper clips, and sporting equipment like baseball bats and tennis rackets. Big items like stainless steel refrigerators and cars will also be impacted. Economists warn that these tariffs could have a major impact on the wallets of both companies and shoppers alike. But President Trump says his latest import taxes are necessary to protect U.S. industries.
Time now for Dollars and Cents. New research shows more Americans are turning to buy now, pay later finance plans to pay for groceries. And more people are struggling to pay those loans back. An expert I talked with says it's an alarming new trend, showing the lengths many families are willing to go to make ends meet.
Buy now, pay later is just another way of getting into trouble.
A survey this spring by LendingTree finds 25% of buy now, pay later users are turning to these loans to pay for groceries, up 14% from last year. 41% say they've made a late payment on their buy now, pay later loans. But as Greg Merced, certified financial planner and founder of financial literacy app BusyKid, warns, this form of credit could lead to more debt.
I think of this as what I call the treadmill of debt, okay? We've all seen those maybe reels on social media of the person on the treadmill running, and then it gets going faster and faster, and the next thing you know, they get smacked against the wall. I think that's kind of what this is. This is another way of stepping onto that treadmill, and you got to be really careful.
Buy now, pay later loans allow consumers to split up purchases into several smaller payments. They're a popular alternative to credit cards because they often don't charge interest, but you can rack up late fees.
What does this increase say about the challenges people are facing financially right now?
I think what it says is that people are not practicing what I call a balanced financial approach.
Greg says that means saving and investing, giving what you can to charity, and don't spend more than you have. LendingTree's survey finds 60% of buy now, pay later users say they've had multiple loans at once, sometimes 3 or more at the same time.
Try to pay these things as fast as possible off and then just not do it again.
The temptation to lean on buy now, pay later loans is strong. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, food at-home prices are expected to increase 3.3% this year, slightly higher than the historic average.
You don't have to wait until you get the statement to pay it. If you get paid every Friday, maybe just take a bit and throw it at it every Friday, or if it's every 2 weeks, throw it at it every 2 weeks or as frequently as you possibly can so that you can dig out of that hole quick as you can.
And the conversation doesn't end here. I've been covering buy now, pay later loans for the past few years now, and I've talked with several experts about the risks involved. You can find those stories on our website, ABC10.com, and streaming on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. Remember, your money questions have answers. Email me at lpainter@abc10.com. And it's also that time of year when we're spending a lot of money on trying to find ways to stay cool, including our energy bills, right? Our air conditioning bills. And Monica is tracking another warm week.
Especially this weekend, right, Monica? That's when really things are going to heat up.
That's right. And so we're going to have at least some access to some cooling because temperatures are on their way up into the mid-90s. Looking at a moderate heat risk by the time we get into the weekend. We're still dealing with that peppered throughout the valley, but it will just expand through more of the region. Wanted to show you these camera views, but you can see the very dark clouds, the billowing cumulonimbus clouds off in the distance here as those thunderstorms erupt over this year. So really a pretty picture, but quite dangerous, especially around any lightning strikes. So let's take a closer look at the radar. And we've periodically seen these special weather statements come out due to the cluster of storms that have been developing throughout the afternoon, mainly south of Highway 50. Now tomorrow it makes a little bit more expansion up to the north towards the Tahoe Basin, but this has been mostly south of Highway 50 along 395 stretching towards Yosemite. We've got that low pressure system sitting off the coast, so it's giving us the instability for some elevations. Underneath that, though, pretty stable environment for the valley, allowing us to warm quickly and with the sinking and warming air. Thursday's forecast for our severe weather outlook, just a moderate, slight risk, I should say, of thunderstorms right through the Sierra, Tahoe Basin included in that. And this pattern will continue into the weekend as well. We're under this very stable weather environment, so periodically we'll see those winds pick up, and that will help cool us just a couple of degrees. And then when those winds shut down, up go the temperatures. And that's what we're seeing for tonight into tomorrow. We'll see a bit of a breeze kick in, which will be nice because we need a little bit of a break from the heat before we get to the weekend. Tomorrow we'll see the showcase of those winds once again coming in from the Pacific during the afternoon and early evening, and that will give us about a 4 to 5 degree cooling for tomorrow afternoon. Once we get beyond that, though, the winds kind of shut down and we're right back to temperatures like this for the weekend outlook. Highs for today in the low to mid 90s up and down the valley. Typically this time of year we're right around 85 degrees, so we're sitting about 5 to 10 degrees above average. 80s for Fairfield, 80s for the foothills, and 70s for the high country. For tomorrow's forecast, we start the day off in the 50s. We warm into the 60s by 8 a.m. By 10 a.m. we're into the 70s, and then at noon we're still in the 70s. That just shows you how much of an impact those winds can have on those temperatures, bringing them down just a couple of degrees, making it just a little bit more pleasant outside. Readings will stay in the 80s throughout the afternoon as well. Now, again, tomorrow's our coolest day. Once we dig deeper into our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday forecast, it's all about this ridge of high pressure, sinking, warming air, and we'll see by Sunday a little less in the way of thunderstorms for the Sierra. But that trend is underway. We got the coolest day kind of coming up in the next 24 hours, and then it's all about the above normal temperatures coming our way Friday through early next week. Highs in the 70s for the Sierra tomorrow. We're in the 80s to near 90 for the foothills. For the coast, we're looking at highs in the 60s. Nice onshore flow keeps us in the 70s and 80s as we head inland. Throughout the Central Valley, highs will be in the upper 80s to right around the lower 90s, a little bit cooler than today, and a nice crisp start to our Thursday as well. Highs will warm into the 80s for the mountains, and again, we'll keep an eye on the opportunity for thunderstorms. For the foothills, we're looking at highs near 90 by the weekend, and for the Bay Area, if you're looking for that cool spot, that's always a good place this time of year. Highs will warm into the low to mid 90s by Friday into the weekend outlook, and that's where we'll stay for the start of next week. But as we dig closer to the end of the week, almost into Father's Day weekend, we'll see highs in the 80s.
Well, thank goodness for that Delta breeze. I heart the Delta breeze. I'm its #1 fan.
Yes.
Beautiful conditions at night, huh, Monica?
Certainly are.
Okay.
Yes.
Monica, thank you.
Welcome back in. I'm Kevin John. Well, they say lightning never strikes the same place twice. Yeah, but apparently they don't know about Neaja Sizemore.
It's been really, really hectic. It's been pretty chaotic.
Yeah, that's the reaction you get when you establish yourself as the fastest high school girl in the state of California.
It's been crazy. Like, I've gotten so many long paragraphs from people and really kind messages. It's just been really overwhelming. I'm really grateful that God put me in a position to get out here and be able to do my thing.
The Vanden High School junior of Fairfield is fresh off winning gold in the 100-meter and 200-meter dash at the CIF State Track and Field Championships over the weekend.
It was an incredible feeling. There's also videos of it everywhere. I screamed out loud. Like, as I was crossing the line, I was screaming, I was sobbing, crying.
At last year's CIF State Championships, Neaja was crying too, but they weren't tears of joy. She had just been eliminated during the trials.
When I tell you, when I got back that night from state trials, I have never cried that much in my entire life. Like, I was like, when we got to finally go down and go to bed, like, I was crying after meet, and then we were laying in the bed. I was waking up in the middle of the night just bawling, crying.
And she used that pain to push her toward prosperity this season.
Every day this year when I was going to the gym at 5, 6 a.m. before school, that was the only thing that was playing in my head was how bad that hurt.
Next season, she begins the tall task of defending her gold medals.
Winning these medals is a big deal for Shirley, but I don't want to get too complacent or banging my britches for my running and my times. Because I know that there's always somebody out there. If anything, this has pushed me to train even harder because I know these girls are out there, and now that put a real target on my back.
What is the secret to running so fast?
praying. That is my #1 tip for running so fast is praying.
So how does the fastest girl in the state relax before each race?
Honestly, I'm kind of a talker. Like when we're in the warm-up area, I'm definitely that girl in there talking to everybody. Like I'm locked in. That's my way of locking in and getting the nerves out. I was talking to all my friends, so I just be out there chatting it up.
Well, we like talking too. So, but she's doing phenomenal stuff. She's also a standout student in the classroom, 3.5 GPA, and she's currently training for nationals at the New Balance Championship. So,
well, you go, girl. Congratulations.
We saw him just a minute ago, but a California man has just completed a 100-mile race down the Sacramento River.
But here's the thing, not only did he win first place, he actually broke records. So ABC10's Marcus Allen has been out on Lake Natoma all morning long and is introducing us to the California River Quest champion. Hey, Mark.
Oh man, you missed it, Jordan. Just moments ago, the nose of my board was in front of his board, so technically I was winning this race. Mr. Cody Rayburn. Hey, Knuckles, man. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
This guy is amazing. Cody, Mr. Showtime Rayburn. Yeah, he did win a race, but before that, I want to talk about other ways I know this dude. You've probably seen him on Conan O'Brien, as well as every late night talk show. You run an entertainment company known nationwide, following on the Magic Mike craze, essentially entertainment.
Yes.
Male entertainment.
Yes, male entertainment.
Are we talking stripping?
We are talking stripping.
And by the way, I found this out about 10 minutes ago. Not that I wouldn't have booked you otherwise, but it's fascinating. And in fact, he's been in multiple music videos, including Macklemore.
Yeah, Macklemore Glorious music video.
All right. So how do you go from that to paddleboarding?
For the heck of it, really. You know, I was in entertainment and I wanted to excel in the athletic department and just decided to pick up paddleboarding for fun and ended up doing a whole 100-mile race.
Yeah, he's only been doing this 4 years now. Let's take a look at this race. You dump in at the Sacramento River. You know, I've lived in California most of my life. I'm only now finding out the Sacramento River goes that far. I had no idea. Started at Redding, ended where?
Chico.
100 miles. And just talk about what that's like. Like, what was the hardest part about all of that?
Oh, man. Well, there's a lot of crazy rapids that you got to get through. You don't want to drown. You don't want to get in the water. It's about 48 degrees. You can get hypothermic pretty quickly. But I would say the worst part of the race out of all of it was the headwind. There was a 12 to 18 mile an hour headwind with 25 mile an hour gusts for roughly 7 to 8 hours of that race. And it did slow us down, but we still got it done.
Nonetheless, you got it done in 14 hours. How many other knuckleheads, if you will, are doing this alongside you?
There was in total just over 60 racers.
And the name of the race is?
The California River Quest 100.
Any idea where this started or how it started?
You know, I'm not sure exactly how it started, but Jeff Kay is the race director and he's been keeping it going since 2014. And it's just a fun race that, you know, really anybody can sign up for, and they have a lot of different categories outside of paddleboard. They have OC1, kayak, canoe, surf ski. So, you know, whatever your water love is or whatever the vessel it is that you like to be on, you know, you can enter in there. And
that's awesome. I'm going to link all that information to abc10.com in case you think you want to race 100 miles on a paddleboard or otherwise. Anybody recognize you from like music videos or the Magic Mike stuff that you do on television?
No, nobody had recognized me on that level. I'm usually more clean cut, but recently I got the long hair and the beard. So.
Gotcha. That's kind of wild. If we could explore that for just a moment. So you're a nutritionalist. He owns Max Muscle in North Natomas.
Yes.
And then you have 100 employees that travel around the United States doing that Magic Mike stuff.
Yes, we have over 100 guys that work for us doing private parties and then live mail review. We have 10 different themed productions that we run annually. We've performed in Bally's in Lake Tahoe and the GSR in Reno.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, hey, coming up next hour, stay with us on ABC 10 Plus. You think you've gotten to know everything to know about this guy. I haven't touched on the most interesting stuff. More about the race, more about him as we continue. Beautiful day here. Back to you.
It is absolutely beautiful. All right, Mark, you teased the 7 a.m. hour. I'm glad you did. We're going to be streaming live from 7 a.m. where you're going to see these two guys. Marcus Allen has the lead over the champion right now. Mark's very competitive. It is absolutely stunning out there, Lake Natoma. All right, thank you, gentlemen, both.
Thank you so much for watching this ABC 10 Plus recap. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
We're in day one of a weather impact alert.
Tracking a couple big weather impacts, including a red flag warning and big heat developing.
Heavy rain continues. I hear it on the roof right now.
We're already seeing the impact of the storm.
We're planning for those changes.
Triple-digit heat leading to cancellations and concerns. Stay fire ready.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on ABC 10 Plus.
Our free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app has so much to offer. Get your news live and on demand 24/7 so you can watch the news when you want. There's breaking news, extended forecast, and so much more. We have everything you need to get through your day and ready for the weekend. We've got you covered on money-saving tips, travel, entertainment, and sports. Download the free ABC 10 Plus app on your smart TV and popular streaming devices like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and more. ABC 10. We stand for you 24/7.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.